It seems like banning cryptocurrency is becoming some sort of a global trend now, because even here in Freedom Land, a new bill and even some executive actions are being proposed to further regulate or, in some cases, outright ban crypto transactions. And surprisingly, it isn't a result of Bitcoin not being green enough. No, this time it's a matter of national security. Actually, now that I think about it, that's perfectly normal for American politics. Anytime you want to trample on people's freedoms, just say it's to keep people safe. Have the news media talk about terrorists and cartels for a few weeks to get people good and scared, and then half of the American people will just stay in their chairs and even clap, thanking their leaders for keeping yet another boogeyman at bay. So, the bill in question is called the America Competes Act. And I'm only putting emphasis on competes because for whatever reason they made it all caps in the bill's title. But this is supposed to help our supply chains become stronger, and it's supposed to help America compete with China in things like semiconductor manufacturing. In case you didn't know, Intel and TSMC are going to start building several new semiconductor plants here in the USA, which is great for the feds. They won't have to outsource the backdooring of these chips to Mossad anymore, and who knows, maybe this will also bring some more jobs to America. But like so many other bills, there are a bunch of other provisions that are completely unrelated to boosting our economy and helping us compete with China, like the one in this bill that would nullify prohibitions in the Bank Secrecy Act, which requires the Treasury Secretary to publicly disclose decisions as well as time limits to block customers of financial institutions from transacting whenever money laundering is suspected on their accounts. So if you have crypto funds, especially funds that are in something like an online exchange, all it takes is the suspicion, not even any real hard evidence, just the suspicion that you're trying to launder money, and bam, funds are no longer SAFU. Now, the problem with this, it's the same problem that we still have with the Patriot Act and same problem that we still have with civil forfeiture laws. In fact, this is exactly like civil forfeiture, now that I think about it. And in case you don't know what that's all about, it's a law here in the US, and I suspect other countries have similar laws to this, where if the police pull you over on a normal traffic stop and ask to search your car, as they so often do, they just love to look around and see what you got in there. And if they find a large sum of cash, and by a large sum, it could honestly be as small as just a couple $1,000s. But if they find cash, they can say that this is for buying a bunch of drugs, or maybe you're gonna go buy a whole lot of machine guns and you're gonna cause some kind of insurrection or do some other nefarious thing. And they can just take that cash as evidence. No judge has to find you guilty of anything like that. A jury of your peers doesn't have to judge you. It's just at the cop's discretion to take a whole lot of money from you. And there's even been cases where they've taken hundreds of thousands of dollars from people, like this case where a United States veteran was riding around with his life savings, I believe, to buy a house or something like that, and cops stop him, they assume it's drug money, and poof, it's all gone. So if your crypto assets are being kept in an online exchange, it might be a good idea for you to start pulling those out, especially if they aren't giving you the seed to your wallet. If you can manage to remember that, then there's almost nothing that can stop someone from locking you out of your funds. And really, that's what this is all about. You see, governments don't like cryptocurrency because they aren't the ones that are issuing it. They don't have control over it like they do over fiat currency. So that's what they want everyone to use. They want everyone to use fiat, which they could just poof, create out of thin air whenever they need there to be more. Which is why fiat is the biggest Ponzi scheme of all time. Don't get me wrong, cryptocurrency isn't perfect either. There's all kinds of nonsense that we've seen with things like the Squid Game token, where you take the marbles, then you use that to withdraw a cookie, but it's impossible to actually get the marbles. I forget all of the details about that, but it's not even really important because there's a million other crypto scams that are just like it. And then, of course, even legit cryptocurrencies, non-shitcoins, their value itself can be so easily manipulated, largely due to the fact that most of the people that are buying, selling, and holding any kind of cryptocurrency, especially really popular ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum, they don't even understand what they actually have. So all it really takes is Elon Musk to tweet a thing, and then there's going to be giant red or green candles coming. But then again, what if Joe Biden randomly tweeted, "Hey guys, Fort Knox is empty. What do you think would happen to the dollar?" I guess a lot of people would probably ignore it. They just say, "Oh, crazy Uncle Joe, he's off his meds again." Now, the thing about cryptocurrency in general is that there isn't really much that you can actually do to regulate it. I mean, it's basically packets that are getting sent on the internet. I mean, maybe you can have your ISP scan for those specific types of packets and then send the blue helmets to your door as soon as they're detected. But then you can just run that stuff over Tor. You can run it over proxies. You can run it over VPNs that are based in other countries and where the actual headquarters that owns that VPN is also based in another country that doesn't have the same kind of connections to the United States or to the Five Eyes or the 14 Eyes, so they're not actually going to sell you out. Trying to ban cryptocurrency and internet traffic that's associated with it is just as impossible as trying to ban online piracy. The best that you can really do is you can tack on a bunch of FUD, you can make it a pain in the ass to get the cryptocurrency, and you can add a bunch of taxes onto dealing with it so that it's not as profitable for the people that just see cryptocurrency as a big opportunity to speculate on it and make a whole lot of money. But all that that's really going to do is make the law-abiding citizens avoid cryptocurrency. You can't really do anything about stopping criminals from using crypto. I mean, obviously, it's right there in the word criminal. They clearly don't follow laws. But just look at something like Monero, right? The Monero cryptocurrency. One of the reasons why it is such a big deal is because of its use in darknet marketplaces. It's kind of where Bitcoin was back in 2012 when the Silk Road basically gave Bitcoin a purpose beyond just nerds sending each other tokens to one another or that guy paying 10,000 Bitcoin for a pizza. So Monero, it goes hand in hand with illegal commodities, even though I think the devs and some people that really want to sort of improve Monero's PR and how the public looks at it, but it is what it is. If you go onto the dark web and you look at marketplaces, almost all of the legit ones are either only accepting Monero or the vendors prefer you to use Monero. So again, it goes hand in hand with illegal commodities, something else which the government effectively cannot regulate. So now is the time to educate yourself about cryptocurrency and specifically how to use it anonymously, because pretty soon that's going to be the only way that you can really deal with it. Just like people are still doing in countries that have already fully banned crypto.